This is the Hobonichi Techo Cousin 2024, and this is the full year version. And this is not going to be the journal that I'll be using for 2025. In other words, I'm not going to get a Hobonichi Techo 2025 for 2025, and I'll explain to you why. I hope that this is not a big rip on the Hobonichi Techo Cousin, because this is actually a wonderful, beautiful journal, well made. But for my needs, it's a lot. It's too much, actually, for my needs. So let me go over some of the specs and some of the things that's in here and why it's not going to work for me. So the first reason why I'm not going to be using a Hobonichi Techo Cousin for next year is the price. And I'll show you the price right here, how much it costs. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there is so much in this journal that it really doesn't suit my needs. I think it suits somebody else. Very thorough, very robust journal, but some of the stuff I don't really need. So this is really helpful, this calendar for 2024, the year before, and then the year after. That's helpful. Nothing wrong with that. But I never really quite understood how to use the 6-month planner and also the monthlies. These became really, really cumbersome to me. I love that on one spread, I could see all of my one-sentence summaries, which is basically a summary of my devotional time, and I love being able to see that. But there's 12 months of this. And I found out that this spread is not actually useful for me long term. What I've really, really enjoyed and have found really helpful is not the monthly calendars, but the weekly spreads. So 52 weeks, 53 weeks, I think actually 55 weeks are covered in this Hobonichi Techo. And this is how I use it. I use the top part. Actually, I divide the full week. This is the full week, Monday through Sunday. And I divide half to record my highs for that week. So each day I record a high or a blessing that God has shown me. And then also the second half, or the bottom half, are the lows. These are the things that I want to bring to the Lord. Some of my worries, my concerns, my anxieties, the low parts of my day. Actually, both of the highs and the lows I present to the Lord. So for the highs, it's sort of like a list of gratitudes throughout the week. And then the bottom ones are lists of prayer requests. And I have found that this spread, this weekly spread, is actually really helpful. And it's actually the one that I gravitate to the most throughout this planner. I'm going to show you a modification of this that I started doing in October. And instead of dividing it into two sections, the highs and the lows, I added on top my devotional in one sentence. So I'll put the one sentence summary up on top, and then I put the Bible reference for that day, what I read. So for example, Jeremiah 33 to 42, that's what I read on October 17th on a Thursday. And the one sentence summary for those readings was, surrender like King Zedekiah should have done. So I love being able to have all of my one sentence summaries in 1 week so that I can reflect on it. And at the same time, I like to see the highlights and the lowlights right underneath it. Because if this is how I started my morning out with this one sentence devotional, I want to see how that was tracked throughout the day. And so I really love this weekly spread that has everything. I can get a bird's eye view of what happened throughout the day and then all throughout the week. The dailies I've realized, and I'm going to go to the most recent one. Today is November 4th. This is the daily spreads or the daily pages. So today is Monday, November 4th, and this is all I wrote. Not a whole lot, right? So you can see all of this wasted empty space. Yesterday there was a lot too, but my kids and I started drawing into this one page, which is kind of cool. But lately, and actually maybe throughout the year, I don't really fill out the daily pages very much. So I've got all of this wasted space. This was Friday. This was last Sunday. This is the Monday following that. So you can see there's a lot of space that's unused. But there have been times also where I use the daily pages a lot. So there's a lot of inconsistencies here. Some days there's not a lot of writing, so there's all of this blank space. And then some weeks and some days, I have a lot of writing. So I love the Hobonichi Techo Cousin. I think it's a great planner, but this is where it falls short for me. It's too much. And then the last thing is I feel really pressured on a daily basis to use this journal. I love that it's dated, but I also hate that it is dated because I don't have the flexibility that I need because, as I mentioned earlier, some days I write a lot, some days I don't. So I don't like to have that pressure of gotta write something today. If I don't, then it's going to be a waste. And it actually turns out to be a waste. One last thing why the Techo doesn't work for me. I'm going to show you the other thing that I really don't like are these quotes. As a follower of Jesus, I find these quotes to be sometimes they're troubling, sometimes they're just not useful because it's taken up a lot of space and it's meaningless to me. I would rather put a Bible verse or a thought about the scriptures down here rather than these quotes. So those are the reasons why the Techo is not going to be working for me next year. Let me reveal to you what I am going to use for 2025. Drum roll, please. It is the 2024 Common Planner. That's right. For 2025, I'm going to use a 2024 planner. Let me explain. I went through this planner buying craze last year before the year ended, and I just saw this one by Common Planner. I thought, wow, this is really beautiful, but I'd already bought the Hobonichi Techo Cousin. So now I was stuck with two, and what eventually won out was the Cousin, of course. But I bought this and it's just been sitting on my desk at work. So what am I going to do with this thing? I paid money for this. I have repurposed this journal for next year and let me show you how I did it. The most important part of a journal for me now, something that looks like this, is the weekly setup. This is it. Really, really simple. 53 weeks, actually 54 weeks of the year, just weekly pages, vertical weekly pages. So here's December 30th through January 5th. And it just goes like this for the entire year. I know it's crazy. I spent about an hour creating this, but it goes all the way to the end of the year. Here we are, December 31st, which goes into January 4th. This is going to be the most helpful part of my planner and calendar and journal for next year because I'll get to do what I did or what I'm doing now in the Hobonichi Techo Cousin. I'm going to put my devotional in one sentence up on top, then my highlights, and then my lowlights. One of the journaling systems that has really worked for me is the bullet journal. And I love the flexibility of that system because I could put in as much or as little in a single day's entry without feeling pressured to fill up a page because it's that day. So I love that. So I think that's what I'm going to do for 2025 is do a bullet journal system. And in that bullet journal system, I'll be doing summaries of my time with the Lord. I'll do long form journaling. I'll do to-do lists. I'll do notes from videos or teachings that I watch or that I see. So anyway, I hope you found this to be helpful. Let me know what journal you're thinking about or you're planning to use for next year. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.